joining me today. Today I'll be talking about sickle cell anemia. Today is Sickle Cell Day, June 19th, and I'll be talking about sickle cell anemia. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, and keep watching eHealth Domain. So from the name sickle cell anemia is an inherited disorder that causes the red blood cell to change from its normal spherical shape to a sickle shape. Why is it very important? It is very important because it is a major cause of mortality and morbidity in children, adults with the traits, and it is very common in Africans. How is this disorder gotten? Most of the time, a lot of awareness has been done, and I'm still doing this awareness, and a lot of people are doing it. It is very, very important to prevent sickle cell anemia, and most prevention is based on awareness and letting people know that if you have the traits, you shouldn't marry someone that have the same sickle cell traits, because once you have two of the traits, if you inherited two of the bad trait, then the children will have sickle cell anemia. So there's what we call blood group. We have blood genotype, and we have AS, SS, AC, and I'm talking about S today because S is the one that leads to the sickle cell anemia. So what happens is that this red blood cells changes in shape when there is a lot of when there's a lot of oxygen demand in the body, and it causes varieties of symptoms. So I'm going to talk about what leads to the symptoms when you have sickle cell anemia and the inheritance. The inheritance is very, very important, and that's why I'm doing this video, to educate people that it is very, very important to know your genotype. That's the major problem, because if you know your genotype, then you can marry someone that doesn't have the same genotype that contains the sickle cell trait, so that you won't have children that have sickle cell. So it is it is inherited disorder that leads to anemia in children, and it's you can have it in adulthood. There are also some treatments for it, especially when you have the symptoms, which I'm going to be talking about. So like I said, the sickle cell anemia is genetic, is an inherited trait from your mother and your father that has the sickle cell gene. So for someone to have sickle cell anemia, both parents have to have the inherited bad gene for you to have it. So if you have someone that has just one of the gene that is bad, the person will not have sickle cell anemia. Instead, the person will have sickle cell traits, meaning the person can transfer the bad gene to someone else, but the person won't have the symptoms. So you not having the symptoms does not mean you cannot transfer it to your children. If you have someone else that doesn't have the symptoms but have the sickle cell traits, the person can transfer the bad gene and your children can have it. So it's very, very important to know your genotype before marriage, before giving birth, so that you can prevent the hassle that sickle cell is going to have on your children and also on the parents, because it's not easy for the parents to train a child with sickle cell anemia. The number of hospital visits, the money and everything, it's not really easy. That's why we are doing a lot of awareness to prevent this kind of situation. So like I said, sickle cell disease is a disorder of the red blood cells that changes the shape, and it's a genetic mutation that makes the red blood cells really susceptible to oxygen demand. So what causes what we know as the crisis? There are different kind of symptoms. You have like swollen hands and feet. The major symptoms people complain of is the crisis and anemia. They have like chronic anemia because the red blood cells are bad, and the spleen, which is an organ in the body that tends to destroy red blood cells. Normally the human red blood cells lives for about 120 days, and the spleen is the one that takes care of it, destroys these red blood cells that are bad. And these people have a lot of bad red blood cells, and the spleen does a lot of work. So they have what we call chronic anemia, because the spleen keeps working and keeps destroying red blood cells. So what are the things that causes the red blood cells to sickle? We have things that increase oxygen demand, like normally it can occur without infections or exercise or anything that increases oxygen demand. But yes, it can occur without it, but most of the time these are triggers to the crisis. We have infection, which is a very, very important trigger to sickle cell crisis, which can happen. We have what we call pulmonary crisis, we have the cerebral crisis, we have priapism, which is just as a result of blockage of the red blood cells because it's sickled. So the pulmonary crisis occur when you have serious chest pain. It can lead to serious chest pain, bronchitis. These are serious pain from the blockage of red blood, the blockage of blood vessels from the sickle cells. So like I said, infections can cause it. It can, when you are doing activities that increases your oxygen demand, like exercise, going for hiking, high altitude place. So these are things that can increase the pain. Stress can cause pain crisis. So, but there are things to do to minimize this. First of all, it is very important for sickle cell patients to take their vaccine because they are susceptible to a lot of infections. Some type of infections, it is very important to go to their doctor and get their vaccine done. There's what is also called splenectomy, that is removal of the spleen. Like I said, the spleen is an organ in the body that helps to clear these red blood cells, and there's a lot of red blood cells that are bad, so the spleen gets overworked on, and some people can do what we call elective splenectomy to remove the spleen. There are also drugs to help them to make help the red blood cells so that it won't sickle. There are some drugs that you can take. It is also very, very important to be hydrated. Drink a lot of water. Make sure that you're drinking a lot of water. You are trying to avoid the triggers, meaning stress. You don't do anything that stress you a lot. You try to prevent infection, good hygiene, take a lot of water. And there's also what we call bone marrow transplants. Bone marrow transplant is like, okay, yes, that's the main deal. Like maybe if you have a serious anemia or chronic, or it's very bad and you can afford it. I don't know if everybody have access to it, but bone marrow transplant, I know a lot of people know about it. It's not also something you can just say I want to do. It has its complications, and it's very, very important to be aware of that. You have to have a matching donor for your bone marrow transplant. You will be immunosuppressed for a while. You have increased susceptibility to infection. But yeah, bone marrow transplant is a way whereby good bone marrow that can produce normal red blood cells that is not sickled will be transplanted to your own bone marrow that is producing bad red blood cells, and this has helped a lot of people to cure bone marrow, to cure sickle cell. But that's, like I said, it's not something that you just want to give it. You want to do because you know that there's this cure, because like I said, it's not 100%. There are some people that have complications from bone marrow transplants. Well, the benefit is there. There's a lot of benefits from it. For people that have sickle cell, there are benefits from it. Like I said, it makes you immunosuppressed for a while. But yeah, the benefit is there is a potential cure for sickle cell anemia. It is very, very important to be aware of your genotype. That's why we are doing all this, World Sickle Cell Day, and doing the awareness. All my story that I've been saying for the past 9 minutes is to tell you want to know your genotype. It is very important to know your genotype before marriage or before giving birth. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, EL's Domain, and subscribe, like, and share.
Yes, and don't let love get in the way of your common sense. Make sure you check your genotype.
It's very important.
Yeah, love is a good thing, but your kids can't suffer, or that's it.
Peace out. Bye.